You know what this means? Oh, I think today's the 16th. I think I need to change that because, see if I can do this without knocking everything everywhere. You get the point. My goal for today is to fine-tune the patch that I had for there and make one for this. Before I do anything, I gotta clean this up. It's a Mopar day. Working on the quarter panel on this side, at least I didn't have any shotgun shells falling out of a big hole here when I was sawzalling, cutting it apart. My other Challenger, a shotgun shell, a loaded one, fell out of there and hit the ground as I was cutting it apart, right, Goldie? And got an audience. And then I was like, oh, a shotgun shell fell. Then I stopped and I picked it up and I was like, dude, this thing is loaded. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was in there with the Sawzall, you know, just hammering away, and there was a shell inside of there. I could have hit it and sent it off, who knows, or when it fell and hit the ground, that thing probably could have came back and shot me in the face or something. Not fun. Then I wouldn't be here to love on you guys, would I? Thankful for that. Okay, Goldie, you make it very hard to do any kind of recording. That's better. Okay, where were we? This edge here is kind of rounded, and I want to make it a little more defined. So I thought maybe I could put a dolly in my vise, and it kind of has a nice edge on it right there. And this way I can kind of move it around and hammer over that and hopefully make that work. Something like that. Now it's a little better. So about right there is what I want. Look at that. Pretty happy with that, I guess. Let's compare it to this side. Peekaboo. I see you. Peekaboo. Why ain't that Rusty? You are, Dad. Okay. There is kind of a gap back here, but then again, there's a big, huge gap between here and there. I get half my finger between there. So all that has to be massaged so it's nice and tight. So I guess, you know, there has to be a gap back there. Make that corner, I guess. I don't know. As long as there's not too big of a gap, we're good. I think I got that one where I want it, so that I'm happy with it. And now let's work on this one. I cut to there, and I cut here to there. But now how do I cut from here to there? I do have the spring right behind here, and underneath here, don't want to cut into that. Thought maybe I can cut down here where it's just the opposite, so I have a high spot here I can sink into, and I can come to there. But back here is iffy. You might have to see if I can take that out. It's the only thing I can think of. Oops. I was so focused back here and trying not to cut into that I forgot about the other side of the wheel. At least I can weld that up. That's nothing. But yeah, sorry about that. I almost got it. Don't you hate it when that happens? Come on. I worked hard for it. My theory is, it's only metal. Now let's see what I can do in 45 minutes. Hey Rusty, you being a good boy. Here, hold this for me. I'm gonna put this flush against there and mark right here at this first fold. And then I'm gonna hold it this way somehow. Camera right in the way again. Then we're gonna mark along there and here. And a line from here to there. Something like that. That should get me in the ballpark. Before, I'm just gonna cut this out. And if it don't work, I'll do it again. Get rid of that big piece. Okay. So you're learning how to do this, Rusty? Anything I can teach you how to do it. These edge pieces are givens, so I can't mess them up too bad. They're all getting, well, butt weld on the one side. I drew a little extra here where it kind of came up. Make sure I'll cut that a little long. I'll show you in a second because you can't see it on camera, and I'll leave this up here. Hi Goldie. I just picked up my sharp little pieces so that my dogs don't step on them. Put them in my little scrap bin. First thing I'm going to do, I drew a little extra here to show that I needed to fold it up right here on this little ledge because it kind of comes uphill. So I'm gonna bend this up, then I'm going to take my plier, I'm gonna fold this up to come up this way. Kind of bend this up a little bit all the way across. See what this looks like. If I'm close, I'll keep proceeding. Oh, looks good. I'll come back to here now. Right where my thumb is, which is right on that mark actually. And then I'm going to start curving that upwards. I'll just put the head of the tip of the pliers on the line itself. And I'll just do that all the way across and see where that gets me. Oh, I'm running out of throat on my pliers. Let me come from this far edge. Okay, let's see what this does. Guess I can show you real quick. Yeah, we're getting there. It's already taken shape and form and all that fun stuff. I am gonna have to cut this off right there. I need to make a line here, right where my thumb is. That top line right there. And we'll test fit it. It's looking good. Where my thumb is. Okay. The first piece I cut off enabled me to get it under here because it was hitting on the bottom of this and it was shoving it way down. And so now I'm putting this inside corner in first, coming out to here, making sure that's lined up, and then coming back to here. That's lined up, and then there's a gap back here because it's leaning back way too far, so I need to pull this forward more. But I cannot do that because right where my thumb is, it's touching back here. And I want to do a butt weld instead of welding behind it because that's just bad news. I don't like doing things that way because in my earlier video, if you look right here, this line is this existing quarter panel, and this here is the quarter panel that they added, and they went right over this one, and they brought this edge all the way up to right here and welded it right to the line on top. I don't like doing things that way because what happens is when you overlap metal, you have rust that comes in between here, and here's proof of it. This is what's going on inside the quarter panel. So that's why I'm cutting this off right where that line is to do a butt weld. Trying to teach Rusty how to do it. That way you can help me in the future, right, Rusty? Sure, Dad. If I had opposable thumbs, you know I would. Maybe I'll label this video Cutting Patch Panels with Rusty. Right, Rusty? You're my buddy. I love you so much. Hope I did that right. Because it is what it is. Goldie. Oh, I think I just hurt my other dog's feelings. Sorry, Goldie. Sorry, Wesley. Cut on the bottom side of that line. I also need to bring this edge up a little bit more, but that'll make it taller, so we'll go from there. Back and forth, back and forth. Because I need to bend this upward, I need to do that next, but I can't because I think I need to cut more off because it's hitting. So I'm gonna mark it again, and that'll tell me kind of dial it in a little bit better on where I need to cut it at. There we go. I'm gonna cut all that off right there. I'm gonna cut at the top of the line just because if I cut at the bottom of the line, it might be too short. You can always take more metal off. It's hard to put metal on. Looking good so far. I think we're right on the edge of it. So now, let me try it up here. If I line it up here, everything else looks off now. I'm going by the flat part. Now I'll try pulling all this forward and see what happens, see how much more I need to trim off. It's almost time for me to go, but at least I got this one made. Almost. I have no idea where to bend it to. I'm just going by kind of what I feel or remember. There's no measurements, there's no patterns, it's all just guesstimating it. That's how I do it. Sometimes I'll use a pattern, it all depends. Let's try this and see. I can tell just by looking at it now. There's kind of a point right here where it's sticking up the highest. I might have to bring that in a little more. I'll try that. Back and forth, back and forth. On the tripod, off the tripod, on the tripod, off the tripod. Now we're getting some funky stuff going on. I had it here and there, and now I'm getting a big old gap over here. And a gap here. So what's happening is right up in here, and you can see this corner here looks a little more than that corner here. So that tells me that this has to be cut off. If you line everything up so it looks like it fits good for the most part, is that corner right there. It's shoving everything off now. So I'll get my marker, trace that, and then I'll cut that corner off so it'll pull through and even things out again. Okay, I just traced it again. That's what I've got. I also went across the top up here. I'm sure there's other ways of doing this, but this is just the way I know how, I guess. So that line, there it is, it goes all the way down. So by standing that up that much more, threw everything off that much more. So now I got to cut this off. Rusty's back. Hey, buddy. I'll throw it for you in a minute. I'm almost done. My time is almost up. So I'm trying to get done what I can while I can. Now I'm going to cut on the bottom of this line now. I know the metal ain't gonna fling off and get the dog. Before I cut it off, I'll put my hand around it just in case. Because I'm dealing with little slivers now. Okay, let's see what we got again. See? Ooh. What's that saying? Intriguing minds want to know. Inquiring minds. There we go. That brought us back into where it needs to be. Oops. I cut too much off. Now I got a little gap in there. Because this cut. Oh well, my bad. Of course, that's a tiny little hole. I can fill that in, no problem. Now I got a high spot right here where my cut isn't perfect. It's hitting on that. I'll cut that off and I think I'm there. Let go. That's why my hands are all bleeding and getting snagged on corners and stuff like that. Okay, I just cut that high corner off that I was just talking about. And so now I just need to fold this to make it match the contour of here. This, where my thumb is, needs to go back more because there's a little gap back here. It kind of straightens out. Tweak this back a little, straighten that out. So yeah, there's my patch. I think I made my goal for today. Rusty says, thank you for watching, everyone. I'm a lot smarter now. Simple patch, but kind of complex at the same time. So now I got them both made. I'll put some clamps on it, see how they look together. Here's the after. Like I said, this is just roughly clamped in. Nothing's fine-tuned or anything, but clamped it back there, so it's twisting this. So this needs to be pushed down and twisted out, and so that corner lines up, but it's not. But it's just one clamp on it. But anyway, you always want to have a little tiny gap. That's a bigger gap. This, like I said, it's just sitting in there. Nothing's lined up yet. I'm just doing this to get a rough feel of how things are lining up and looking and all that fun stuff. My theory is it's better than it was, so that you're doing something right. So we're getting there. Right, Rusty? Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it. Dream big. Work hard. That was easy. Thanks for watching.